I see you recording, so I won't say much, but welcome to the night.
Thanks. I wasn't sure that if I had to start the webinar to be able to let people in. So yeah, I started recording.
Okay, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. While we're waiting for everyone, Sharon, do you guys usually share the agenda right up at the beginning, or I have it ready to share if you want me to share it?
Yeah, no, we usually just run through it. Nobody
Okay.
shares it. I don't think. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Claudia.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Hi, Sarah. So I think how many do we need for a quorum? 5, 6? I should know this.
Remind me how many people are on the commission?
Well, we have 10 members. There are 11 seats, but we have 1 vacancy.
5 is good. 5 is a quorum.
Okay, maybe we'll just wait 1 more minute. I know Melody wrote that she's not coming, but let's see if anybody else don't. Give it 1 more minute.
I just texted Christina.
Thanks. Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
All right, maybe we'll get started. So I think we're already recording, is that right? Yes, we should. Thank you for that. Okay, so it is 7:03 and I will call the meeting to order. And our first, excuse me, our first agenda item is approval of the minutes from our April 10th, 2023 meeting. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve with
Thanks.
changes.
Thanks, Sharon.
Can I just say
And-
something really quickly? Sorry to interrupt, but I see Jasmine in attendees, and I don't know if she's having issues getting into.
Oh,
Kind of-
let me see if I can promote her.
Hi, Chantal. Okay, well, while we're doing that, maybe is there a second to, oh, there's Jasmine, great.
Hi, thank you.
Hi. Okay, so we had a motion, we have a motion to approve the minutes with changes. We just need a second for that.
I think Sarah gave the second.
Who did? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Sarah?
Sarah did? Okay, thank you. So I know there were some changes. Is there any discussion or changes? Sharon, you mentioned.
Yeah, I can just read mine off really quick. I emailed you guys just to keep it short. Just the spelling on Connor, updating the pages at the bottom. They all say page 1. Under page 2, under community outreach and civic engagement, add an and between Oyster Fest and Nice Festival. And then my final one, page 3, under diversifications of boards and commissions committee, change the second sentence to the committee is looking into how to get the word out to the general public on how the openings, new website, and new application process with QR code can be announced. So you have that in your inbox. Thanks.
I got it. Thank you. Are there any other changes, Ashley?
I think that Barb's last name might be spelled incorrectly. I think it's the S before the T, but I would have to check. It's such a long last name, I'm not positive. I can take a quick look.
Okay,
Yeah, the S goes before the T in Barb's last name.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
I also had some changes in the on the piece on age limits to marrying, in addition to the spelling of my name, which Sharon already mentioned. The third sentence, she has reached out to legislatures for an opinion essay to support the bill. It actually was that I had reached out to legislators, comma, and written an opinion essay to support the bill. Yeah, that's really it, substantively. Any other changes to the minutes from the April meeting?
I'm sorry, I have one more change. I'm sorry, I forgot to say this, and I didn't include this in the notes. Under the diversification of boards and commissions committee, that sentence that I mentioned, there's another note. I didn't say this. Someone else must have said this, but it said she noted that they needed to approach the Common Council to advocate for this diversification. If that can be deleted, I did not say that.
Okay,
And I guess also where it says that I asked to be included on committees that need members, I ended up specifically being on the COCE committee.
Okay, so thank you all for those changes. Okay, so with those changes, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the April meeting? Anyone? Someone?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you, Sharon. And a second? Thanks, Ashley. Great. Okay. Alicia, is there anyone who is, next item is public comment. Is there anyone who?
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I want to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Totally my fault. Yes, I forgot. Okay, so we had the motion. We need to vote on the motion. So all in favor? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All against? Any abstentions? Okay, and so Chantal and Shannon are abstaining because they're at the meeting. Great, thank you very much. Okay, now I think we can move on to public comment if there is anyone who is there.
It does not look like we have any attendees in the waiting room.
Okay, thanks, Leisha. The next item is new business. So and under that, we have a few things. So I'll turn it over to Ashley on the first item, which is the Rally for Reproductive Rights.
Thanks, Claudia. I just wanted to share on behalf of Norwalk Actions for Reproductive Justice that we are in the planning stages of having a rally for reproductive justice on Saturday, June 24th in the morning, likely around 10 a.m. We are awaiting approval to use the green. I reached out, the First Taxing District has their meeting on Wednesday of this week. So hopefully by Thursday, we'll have approval to use the green. We would love for everyone who's around to come out. If anyone is interested in speaking, let me know. And yeah, that we chose that day because that will be the 1 year anniversary of Roe being overturned by the Supreme Court. If anyone has any questions, let me know. And if you're around towards the end of June, please mark your calendars and spread the word.
That's great. Thank you very much. And any comments or questions for Ashley on that? Okay. The next item is a documentary called Take the Ice. I don't know, Shannon, if you want to speak to that, if you want me to touch on it, either way.
We just got some information towards the end of last week on this item, and Leisha helped us get some intel on it as well, and Michelle. It was brought forth from Lou Schulman, who's on the, help me out, Leisha, he's
the
on
chair of the zoning commission.
zoning, right? He used to be on transportation, but he's on zoning. He brought it forward to us. It's this documentary that was either written or produced by a woman who's grew up in Norwalk, all about professional women's hockey. So he wanted to bring it forward to us to see if we could partner perhaps with the library or any, of the girls sports organizations to do like a viewing kind of thing. It's available for viewing. So we wanted to kind of bring it forward here and get everybody's feel and see what we could come together to work on. If anybody has any questions, I think the library is a great, place to do it. I don't know, maybe if we plan, it's kind of a tough time of year to do it. I feel like everybody has a lot with the end of school year and such, but maybe over the summer, or we plan for the fall once everybody's back in and thinking cold things like hockey, really, get our arms around it and do a nice big event.
Yeah, I think September could be, October would be good months for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If anybody has any questions, I can go back to him and get some more detail. It was just Michelle got in contact with him on Friday before she left for a couple of days. So Sharon, did you have a question?
Yeah, I think it's cool. my recommendation would be also just to let them know that they can submit it to the Newark Film Festival. That's something that
Oh.
they'd probably be interested in possibly showing.
I have a question. Do you know if there is a fee for showing the documentary, or is it available?
I think he said it was available. If I'm wrong, please let me know, but I believe he said it was available for viewing.
And is it in other, sometimes documentaries come up at the same time in places like Netflix and so on. Is this somewhere else available as well?
I believe it's a streaming now. It was released recently. I have the agenda pulled up. Let me see if I can go back into my email and see if I can find his notes.
Shannon, I've got his email. I don't know about the streaming service, but he did say he doesn't believe there's any money involved in setting it up.
Yeah.
But
I
we-
looked, when I like Googled it quick, I'm pretty sure I saw that it was like available for streaming. But yeah. We can, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. It just came before us at the end of last week. I do think fall is a great time of year to focus on this, and gives us time to really plan. So we'll keep this on the agenda and move forward. I'll have, I can reach out to him and just, get all the information, and maybe the woman Rachel can attend, the night that we do it. So
I have a question. Do we know whether there are any youth female hockey leagues in town? Because it might be nice to reach out. I don't know if there are, but
I don't know. I know there's an active group of moms who puck is what they call themselves. So they might want to be involved, and I know some of their daughters are playing. So we can definitely, I can take that on. I can send some emails and see what I can come up with.
cool.
That's great. And Sono Ice House might have a girls' league or an intramural league or
Yep.
something like that. Great. Thank you, Shannon. That's excellent. I
No
also
problem.
love the idea. I think it's great. And as we'll hear from Ashley in a moment, we have a growing partnership with the library, so we can connect with them to see about maybe showing it there
Perfect.
or elsewhere, even a movie theater somewhere. Maybe.
Well, I know the mall is going to be doing movies over the summer, so maybe we can tie it in with them to give us a little bit bigger space and outreach too.
Oh, wow. That's great. Good. Well, thank you. That's awesome. Anything else on that?
Connecticut does have a professional women's hockey team. I don't know if y'all know that, but the Connecticut Whale, I think they play up near Hartford. They used to play in Danbury, and I think now they're in like Simsbury. But I don't know if we might want to reach out to them at all. But there is a women's professional hockey team in Connecticut.
Excellent.
I did not know that. That's great. I mean, I think if we once we identify sort of how we can secure the film, and Shannon find a location for it, maybe we get if Rachel could come, depending on where she's located, and maybe if she's got family here and she says, yes, I can be there on X date, maybe we sort of schedule it around her availability, and then get a few other, maybe somebody from the Women's Hockey League and, a few panelists to also kind of make a little bit of a bigger event out of it. Anyway, we can see, but that's great intel. Mm-hmm. Good. Anything else on that? Okay. The next item still under new business, although it's not so new at this point, is the advocacy efforts to support the bill on banning child marriage. And so just a brief update on where that stands. At our last meeting, I had shared that I was going to be talking with Representative Dominique Johnson, and we did finally connect. And although it wasn't when we were supposed to, but basically she let me know last week, I think, that it was voted out of the House and is now in the state Senate. So I reached out to Senator Bob Duff and asked if we could, told him what we as a commission had done already, that we had voted unanimously to support the bill. He wrote back and I asked if there was an opportunity to submit written testimony, would be a public hearing. He didn't respond to those questions. He said he was really happy to know of our support for the bill and that he would make that known. In today's Norwalk Hour, there was an article about it, and just that it was voted on in the state house, and some interesting positions, pro and con. So I do think it would be valuable to keep pushing. I'm going to reach out to some of the other senators and also continue to see if there's anything else, like if there's an opportunity to submit written testimony or, to speak. So I'll keep you posted. I have no idea what the time frame is, but I'll find out. And that's really it on that. Any questions or comments? Okay. So we have under new business, the diversification of boards and commissions committee, but we also have it under old business. So I don't know, Farron, if you have any new business you want to share on behalf of the committee.
Yeah, I just have one thing. I'm working with Jasmine and Christina on our committee. And in new business, our committee is going to put together an onboarding and mentorship guide that we're going to pilot within this commission. It's probably going to take us several months to write it. I'm not really sure. And then we're hoping to present it to the city when it's complete and we feel comfortable with it. So with that, if anybody has anything that they want to send to me about what experience you would like us to improve upon, you joined this commission, or anything else, or any other suggestions, please email me. Thanks. That's it.
Great. Any additional comments on that? Questions? That's great. Thank you for that. So we also, under new business, the research committee. I sort of wonder if we need to rejig our agenda, but anyway, let's keep going. Sarah.
I believe under new business, we wanted to talk about potentially combining the outreach and research committee, and then in old business, we have the table survey.
Yeah.
So Yvonne, do you want to explain that?
Yes, because most of the members of the research committee and the outreach committee are almost the same people. We thought we could save some time by meeting all together under the same group.
And
I
then,
don't know.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and beyond that too, we keep doing things that in the research committee that feel like the outreach committee is also doing. So that's more of the overlap and sort of using our energies more productively. So that was kind of the reasoning behind that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I guess do we need to vote on that? I guess so. All right, so maybe we take a motion to, is there a motion to combine the research committee and the community outreach and civic engagement committees?
I'd like to move a motion to combine the outreach and civic engagement committee with the research committee.
Thanks, Yvonne. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Any discussion?
Oh, what would we call it?
Would be the first order of business at the newly combined committee meeting.
Do that. Okay. I mean, because we're combining the civic. There's the research committee, and then the other one is civic engagement and outreach and community
Yes.
outreach.
Yeah,
Okay. I feel like with community outreach, it's kind of subsuming research a bit, because that's what the research is for, like to see what the community feels, should be our priorities. So that's just my 2 cents, that we don't have to include another word in that already long name.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good thinking.
I agree.
So to just call the committee, the Community Outreach and Civic Education Committee, Civic Engagement Committee.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And, it's also possible that in the future that would change again, right? Or it would be sort of two subcommittees, one, or people, as we know, are working on different projects within the committees. So something might be more research oriented and something else may be more event oriented, but that sounds great. Okay, so any other comments or discussion before we vote on this? I don't see any. So is there a motion to create, to combine the committees and have it the research committee and the civic, community, community outreach and civic engagement committee, calling it the Community Outreach and Civic Engagement Committee.
Yes, I move the motion again. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
Susan-
Is there a second?
Sarah second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Okay, it looks unanimous. All right. Thank you very much. And then the final item under new business is community outreach and civic engagement work. There are quite a few items under old business, so I don't know if anybody on that committee has anything new.
We made a couple connections on Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, please share. That's great.
Yvonne has the note, the email addresses and things written on that, but yeah, we had a lot of folks come up to the table to chat, which was great. Many people gave us their email address to receive the survey when it's ready. Some folks took bookmarks for our library program, but there were a couple in particular. Yvonne, do you have?
So one of them was from Brian McMahon High School and Norwalk Strong Group. So that's a group of young kids working on mental health and preventing drug addiction. So they have the same kind of group at the Norwalk High School as well. So they invited us to come and talk to the group. So we will be connecting with them.
Yeah, because we've been talking about where do we begin with getting involved with the high schools, and that seemed like a great option. So yeah, the Norwalk Strong crew from Brian McMahon, and then someone from, I want to say, the Norwalk Breast Health Center, who
Correct.
wanted to really push cancer screenings and mental health. I feel like there could have been a third.
Yes, it was Barbara Chase from the crisis text line as well.
So we have all those contacts, and folks were interested in partnering with us on things. So
Yeah, I also made a connection with the Women Leagues, Voters League, which I've connected with. But when I was at the walks, I met somebody that will help us move forward conversations with them.
That's fantastic. That's great stuff. Good. So do you need people, or will you bring some of the outreach to the committee to kind of delegate out? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Mhm.
Great. I'll also add under new business, and we mentioned this at the last meeting, but I had for the Community Outreach Committee and generally created a PowerPoint presentation, just sort of introducing the commission. And so the Community Outreach Committee viewed it at our last meeting and or prior to the meeting, and felt that it was, liked it. So we know it does have the current Norwalk City logo, and we understand there's a new logo forthcoming. And there are a few changes that I need to make based on some input, and including just putting my email address as a contact. But as a PowerPoint, we could take it to any meeting. You could print it out if there's not a chance to sort of view it, but it's a way to kind of, have a consistent message on who we are. And then we also used that, or will use it. Actually, I'm not sure where we are on the brochure.
I used it for the flyer. We had flyers to give out on Saturday morning. So a lot of folks took that, but yeah, I used information straight from that PowerPoint for the flyer. And then Jasmine also put together a couple little signs for our table with some more information. So
Gloria, maybe you'd like to share the presentation at our next meeting?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll make those changes. I just didn't have a chance to get it organized for this evening. So yeah,
Sure.
I'll do
And
that.
then we can show the flyer to the rest of the commission as well.
Perfect. Good. Okay, anything else on that committee for new business?
Claudia, did you just want to mention the connection with FCCF and She Should Run?
Yeah,
So everyone might remember that, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I met with two people at FCCF because we were exploring funds that we could use for the table survey, for example. And from that, more recently, they gave my information to someone at She Should Run, which is an organization that they're a national nonpartisan nonprofit that is working to dramatically increase the number of women considering running for office, public office. And so Claudia has agreed to meet with their program manager to see if there's any potential opportunities for collaboration.
and I just have to book that. We exchanged emails, but yeah. Excellent. And that might be something like we could invite, depending on what they do, like invite them to be on a panel at some other thing we're doing, or we could be on a panel of something they're doing, just to kind of get that cross fertilization going and collaboration. Great. Okay, so I think we'll move on to old business unless there's anything else. So there are quite a few things under the Community Outreach and Civic Engagement Committee. They're all on the agenda. Melody emailed earlier that she wasn't able to join tonight's meeting, but she, so following our meeting in April where the commissioners' consensus was to talk to Stepping Stones about either a quarterly collaboration or maybe a one-off when they're having an event where we could table or have a presence. So she basically has just sort of exchanged calls with them and there's no solid follow-up yet. So she's following up is the update on that. There is a lot of progress on the Norwalk Public Library partnership. So I'll turn that over to Ashley, who's been.
thanks. Yeah, I've communicated a lot with Vicki Otis from the children's area of the Norwalk Public Library, and we're going to host our first 2Gen book club. We're calling it 2Gen book club, reading across generations. The library has funds for, I think they can get like 70 copies of a book. There were some limitations. They had to be able to get it in paperback, and it had to be on the Nutmeg, there were a couple of award lists that it had to be on. So together we picked Get a Grip, Vivi Cohen by Sarah Caput. And so beginning June 1st, hopefully June 1st, there's like a little backup with the publisher. Folks will be able to pick up a free copy of that book at the library. And then we're going to host the multi-generational book club on Wednesday, June 28th at 6 p.m. So if anyone is available, put that on your calendar. And so we were saying the book is recommended for children ages 8 to 12. So it's a little bit older than the picture book crowd. And we're welcoming children with an adult family member or caregiver for discussion activities and light refreshments. So the library will provide the books and the space, and I think the activities, Vicki and I will have to work on that. But we as the commission would be providing the refreshments. So that's something that we'll have to discuss and plan for. And we have a little bookmark that we were able to hand out Saturday morning for some folks who were interested.
Is there any way we can see the books? And also my other question is, any of the events that happen, should we all be voting on them? Because they're representing the commission. I don't know.
Should we what?
any of our programs that we create, should we vote for them? Like, everyone approves it before we just do it? Because I
Got
didn't hear about it. I'm asking Claudia.
So we did, I mean, it's a good question, and maybe we need a collective answer, or maybe there is a clear answer on how commissions are supposed to do this sort of thing. We did discuss and agree last month to pursue a partnership with the library and parallel to what Melody's been discussing with Stepping Stones, which did involve a book and some sort of activity. So in that sense, there was agreement to proceed with this. The specific date and book we did not discuss. And so, yeah, I mean, if I would open that up for discussion, like what, if that's, yeah, what folks think about that, how you feel about it. I mean, we have voted on other things, I think, or not, like things like, to the advocacy around the child marriage bill or, the stepping stones. Well, we didn't vote on that because we just felt there was a consensus that we didn't have enough information, but.
I can chip in with some just procedural information about it. I mean, really, the commission can decide on its own how they want to do things. And the things that they usually balance are the turnaround time for events like this. So there might be some types of topics where you want to basically empower the subcommittee to be able to make decisions. So what you would be voting on is to say, we vote that the subcommittee has the authority to work with the library, stepping stones, et cetera, to come up with dates and events that fall within these general categories, and let them kind of run with it. Or you can say, we want to make sure that the entire commission signs off on any events. The problem there is that you sometimes miss opportunities just because of meeting schedules and having to come back before the committee. So just food for thought about ways other commissions handle stuff like this.
Thank you. And I'm not knocking any of it. I think it's amazing work. I'm just curious because I actually haven't seen it run like this, and that makes sense. Okay.
That's great. Thank you, Sharon, for the question, and Leisha for the insight. Super helpful.
I also
mean,
have just
yeah.
one comment. Also not knocking it because Ashley knows I was excited to see the bookmark when I went to the event on Saturday, because we have a very limited budget. I'm just thinking of like the order of things, because the way, well, maybe I'm understanding it wrong, but the way the table survey has worked is that one of the commissioners pays for it and then gets reimbursed. So if we don't, because there's so many subcommittees that are going to be drawing from those funds, then we probably have to come up with a system where we figure out, is this something that we want to use our funds for? And so that no one puts forth their funds and then can't get reimbursed. And then hopefully, as the commission, as more time passes that the commission is doing community outreach, more opportunities will come up. And so I think we should also think about voting in the sense of, are we following our mission statement? Because it could be eventually, there could be a lot of events that we have to say no to some of them and yes to others.
Mhm. Yeah, really good points. Shannon.
I think like to Sharon's point, we should all know what's going on and what the commission is outreaching into, because you never know if you're going to get stopped. Somebody's going to say, oh, Claudia, it's so great that the commission was at X event this weekend. And she's like, wait, we were? And we just need to make sure, but it doesn't have to be, I don't know that we need a vote, because again, with the way that our meetings fall and stuff, we could miss really viable opportunities that we want to be a part of. I think we can, send an email around so everybody is given a chance to be aware, voice any concerns, support, whatever it may be, but that we're all on the same page. And Sarah, to your point, like, we can't say yes to everything and then be trying to backpedal into like figuring out how to do it. Like, I know we were signed up for Saturday, I know we're signed up for Pride in the Park. Like, we have to go bit by bit and get our bearings and see what we're going to focus on. But I do think, just as simple as an email to the full commission would be really helpful, just so we know exactly what page we're all on.
I agree with you on that. I applaud it because somebody's doing something. We were talking about getting active, doing things, and it's great that you are. Congratulations on that. But it would be nice, yes, for everybody to know this is what's happening. That's what I think.
Thanks, Chantal. I mean, maybe one,
Welcome.
oh, sorry, did somebody have a comment? Okay, I was just going to say, maybe we can create a, like at the Community Outreach Committee, create a calendar too, that we can just update and send around. We had one that Yvonne created kind of a to-do, like that was our agenda for the committee, but maybe it's more just sort of a calendar with just dates and information, like events or the kinds of things that are coming up, the Pride in the Park or the library event. And just circulate that on a monthly basis after the Community Outreach Committee.
I just have
update.
one word of caution, if I could just throw it in there, which is that you have to be a little bit careful about the freedom of information rules, especially when you are communicating with all of the members of the commission, even with a quorum of the commission members on an email, especially if you're going to be agreeing to things or not agreeing to things, that's a violation of the Freedom of Information Act, because it's not public. So I guess my advice just from the FOI perspective would just be to try to talk about as much of it as you can at the meetings. And then if there's things that need to happen in between, if the subcommittee is talking about it, they can let the other people who are not on the subcommittee know what happened. I wouldn't email everybody all at once because you run into transparency issues.
Got it. That's great advice. Thank you. And
Yeah,
also
sorry,
just,
I
yeah,
didn't mean to insinuate that we should have back and forth dialogue. I meant more of like a calendar, like, hey, we're doing this.
And that's fine.
Because
That's
it's a
totally fine.
slippery, it's a slippery slope,
Yeah.
as soon as there's some back and forth, when everybody's on it, it's definitely something we don't want to get ourselves into. But just as a information sharing, we definitely can use it in that capacity.
Absolutely. And our office or the law department can give you advice too if you're not sure if something is informational or if it's going to be a dialogue. But that is the exact distinction that Shannon brought up. You can't have dialogue and voting. You can just share information.
and we can put, yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks for that distinction. And we can also maybe put those specific things into the agenda with the dates, so it's kind of all visible, I mean, once we've agreed to things or when they're proposed, right? And we can just make that really clear, like proposed event versus planned. But then we also have access to the specifics. Okay, so back to Sharon's question, is there any, well, just on the library event before we proceed, since we had talked in principle about pursuing a conversation with them, and then it sort of kept moving from there, is there, does anyone have, would you like to vote on the June 28th Two Generation Book Club? Or is there kind of a general consensus that this is something we would like to do? How would you like to proceed?
As far as the book list, Vicky from the library had a book in mind, and it has a strong female lead character with a disability. It felt like a good inclusive book that fits. So I didn't even get the full list of options from her because she's so wonderful. I trusted her judgment on choosing the book. And then I think we kind of like, I was okay with like helping to fund myself some of the refreshments. Like Yvonne and I got snacks and waters on Saturday morning, and like we're giving those out. And like I was not going to ask for reimbursement for that. I can't remember if there was another question about the library.
I would be willing to help you with that too.
Thank you.
And I would too. I mentioned that to Vicky as well. All right, so why don't we proceed with this plan? Unless, let me ask this, is there anyone who has any objection to this particular part, this event in June with the library? Okay, so we'll go ahead as planned, and we'll start being a bit more methodical about putting things after discussion in the community outreach committee, or as other things come up, sort of making sure it goes into the agenda with the dates and details. And I think that'll be helpful. Or sharing information on a calendar. I think it's both would be good. Okay. The next item is the meeting with Norwalk Acts, Yvonne.
Yes, before we
Sorry.
move in,
Oh,
I'm sorry. Lucy Dathan? Oh, sorry, never mind. This is a District D email. She's waiting on to get into District D. Never mind. I'm just gonna hit mute here. Bye.
I just wanted to remind everybody that we have a Google Sheet for people to help us sign up for events that we have. We might add the library event in there as another sheet. But we need people to sign up to help add tabling the event for Pride in the Park. So if you need me to send the email again, I'll be happy to. But please, if you can add your name, if you can help, that would be great for them. We have
Eva-
tables, we have tents, we just need people to help.
I signed up this morning and for some reason it didn't like upload or anything. Just let me know. But I signed up for 2 other shifts for Pride in the Park.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. I didn't check before the meeting, so
Okay,
thanks.
no problem.
So yes, we are inviting for the outreach and civic engagement committee. Call it COSE, I think is our name. We are inviting Jennifer Barahona from Norwalk Acts to speak with us about what their current efforts to have public engagement are, and see how we can collaborate. So that's happening next week. She'll be there, and we probably will have some other updates at our next meeting.
Thanks, Yvonne. I also signed up for Pride in the Park a while back, so hopefully that got captured. Okay.
We got you, yes.
Good. Any questions for Yvonne or other comments? Okay.
After June 30th, I'll sign up for whatever you guys, I'll participate in whatever needs participation, but before that, I'm kind of tied up.
Great, thanks, Chantal. All right, the next item under the old business for that committee is we've already actually touched on it, the PowerPoint presentation and the two-sided brochure. So as suggested, I'll update the PowerPoint and send it out in advance of our next meeting. And then we can also flick through it at the meeting.
I can send out the brochure and the bookmark too.
Great, thank you. And then the last item there are the t-shirts idea. So Jasmine.
And just to add to the table signs that I made for the outreach fair, were just the same information that was on the presentation, kind of just bulleted it. And then I did a sheet of our names, starting with chair, vice chair, and then just a list of our names. And then Michelle as a staff person. That's what that was.
Jasmine, the list was nice because a lot of people recognized the names when they came to our table.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I thought it was helpful. I did think, how can I word it? If hope was okay with everyone having your names listed, but it is public and everywhere. So I thought it was fine. So for the t-shirts idea so I had an idea that I had brought to the outreach committee, just for being that we had all these events and everything that we're talking about coming up to have just designed a t-shirt. I know that we asked Michelle if it was even an option, and she said yes. She got the clearance about using the logo, but then said hold off because there's a new logo coming up. But just something simple that we can just put a shirt on and just and have it and look like in unison. I had thought about it for the mental health walk, if we were all gonna walk as a group, and everybody could be like, who are those people in the t-shirts and all that, and it kind of like sparked interest. I like to wear t-shirts and stuff, and so that's where it was. I thought I had a connection. My brother-in-law makes t-shirts, but doesn't have his machine, and he said he's not gonna have it for 2 months. The t-shirt making machine. But Yvonne, you sent over a estimate of like a friend or something.
Yeah, I know somebody, and I'm sorry, my dog is barking. I apologize for that. But I did get an estimate for sure. The cost will be $25 each, and because we don't have a budget to pay for shirts, because we should save the money for other things we need to pay for. We were wondering if the members of the commission would be willing to sponsor their own shirt. So we will run the design by you guys and so on. And then if everyone can pay for their own shirt, that would be great. If you think that having a t-shirt is a good idea.
I would be willing to.
Me too. And I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want a t-shirt? I think that sounds so cute. I also want to mention, if you get to a point where you can't do t-shirts or anything like that, I have a button maker with actual materials, and I'd be willing to donate that to the commission, or we can just, I can't take it on, but I can give the button maker to somebody if they want to take it on.
That's great.
That is great.
Fantastic. So it seems like everybody's up to paying for their own shirt, and we'll run the design by you guys before we actually get them print. My question is, do we need a vote for that, or is it okay?
Well, let's just do a vote just to
Just to be on the safe
Well,
side.
it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Okay, so we have the recommendation to make Commission on Status of Women t-shirts, and that we each pay for our own at the cost of $25 each. So is there a motion for that on the floor? Or may I have a motion? Okay, thanks, Shannon. And a second? Chantal, thank you. Any further questions or discussion?
I
Okay.
think it's important that we wait for the new logo, that we don't duplicate any efforts or anything like that.
Yes, June, I was told. Mhm.
Okay, that's great. That's like right around the corner. Okay, great. So just need to, may I have a motion to vote on the proposed t-shirts? Shannon, and second by Ashley. So all in favor of having the shirts made and purchasing them at our own expense, please say aye or raise your hand. Great, it is unanimous. Thank you. That's exciting. Okay, research committee. For your final research committee report.
Okay, so speaking of emailed everyone the current draft of what the table survey quote unquote tokens would look like. And then also a short blurb just to have as a guidepost for those that are sitting at the table and need to explain to people that come up what we're doing. I can share my screen, but also you all should have it in your email. Should I share my screen? Is that okay with everyone? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So the little squares would just be like small pieces of paper. And if you are a Norwalk resident, you pick one of the two that say Norwalk resident, how you identify. And then obviously if you're not a Norwalk resident, then you pick one of the two that say non-resident. And so when we're, I think everyone knows, but we're going to have 5 categories, and each one is going to have like a glass bowl. So then someone comes up, picks their token, and then they could put it in whichever priority they think is most important. And the ones that everyone chose were reproductive rights, childcare, LGBTQ issues, pay equity, and I'm blanking on the other one. But it was pretty easy to do 5 instead of 7 because we were saying if it's close, then we'll do 7, but we got 5. I honestly forgot that I had to update everyone on that, and the notebook is downstairs. I can run and get it in a bit, but so we have the categories, but I wanted to make sure because there was a lot of discussion about what the token should be, or if we should do toothpicks and the colors, and the research team sort of came up with this idea to do tokens. So does anyone have any? Oh, actually, the main edit is, when is the new logo coming out? Because the first time we're doing the table survey is June 10th. Or
I
do
have
we-
to check with Michelle about when they're actually launching it. I mean, I know they have it already, so you know, she wants to do the major launch before we start using it, but I think that in terms of producing the tokens, she could probably get it to you earlier, and hopefully she'll be doing it before June 10th.
Okay, so Michelle would know.
Michelle would know.
Okay, cool. Any other edits other than the fact that we have to put the new logo in there?
I would
Sorry.
still print them on different colors. So we also have that visual.
So this could be a larger discussion, but we went back and forth because in the past, different colors can signify things to people, and so we just wanted to avoid that. I don't know if that still stands.
I understand.
I mean, I'm happy to do that too, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sarah, would they be printed in the sizes that we're seeing? I mean, more like, so some are bigger and some are smaller. The one that says identify as a man, would it be smaller, or they would all be the same size?
it's funny. I just did that because there was less text.
Oh, okay.
But I can make them the same size.
And printed on like cardstock or paper or something?
So I'm not actually sure where we would print these. It depends. I was thinking cardstock would be ideal because then we could reuse them more, or even like potentially laminate them. But I need to check with Michelle on like whether or not we could print them through her, or if someone else on the commission had access to a printer. And I honestly have no idea how many to print, but the research or the new committee can think through the logistics of that.
Awesome. I think that we can discuss the material at that meeting. I just checked on my email and I think the new logo is being launched on July 1st. That's what I got.
Okay. Okay.
Like having the old logo on these shouldn't be as big of a deal. I mean, I know we want to wait for shirts and stuff, but I would think it's okay for these for now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, we can always reprint them later.
July 1st, not June
Mhm.
1st.
In that sense, plain paper could be our best option, easier to cut and
Yeah.
just manipulate.
Yeah, I agree with what Ashley just said. I think for this, it's totally fine, you know, to use a logo so we're prepped, and then we'll just press pause on the shirts that we're not, you know, recreating them a month later, but this should be fine.
Great. Excellent.
And I have the categories right here. 1 second. The other thing I just wanted to throw out there in case somebody has a relationship established, I reached out so Michelle connected me with someone at, in the city office who connected me with emailed the person that runs Sono Arts Fest, but I still haven't gotten a response. So I haven't been able to pursue that option. So right now we only have the Pride in the Park event to do the table survey so far, and then we'll look into whenever they decide on the police department's night out event, which would probably be more in September. But if anyone, has ideas for other events, I know we were gonna look into the farmers markets.
Yeah, Melody reached out. I got her the contact info and Melody reached out and she just recently CC'd me on like a follow-up email. Farmers market is not, I think I saw the date. It's not starting until after 4th of July. I think July 8th is going to be the first one. So I'm not sure if they've fully
Gotten
figured everything out yet.
Okay. All right. So for the table survey priorities, this is from the survey of the commissioners. The clear top choice was reproductive rights. Then childcare, pay equity, and violence against women were all sort of tied for second, third place. And then the fifth is LGBTQ and gender nonconforming equity. That's what we'll put. Does anyone have any edits to the very brief explanation that we'll have translated and sort of laminated to have at the table?
Not a comment on that, but I just hope one day we will include ageism, because for female in the workplace, it is an issue. For male, perhaps not so much. I don't think it's something we can afford to leave behind, because at some point it reaches and it will hurt any one of us.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind as we continue to put forth feelers in the community about people's experience.
Thank you.
And I think it was Yvonne emailed to ask, because emails were collected during the event on Saturday, and we thought, should we do like a table version, the table survey, but electronic version? And I just wanted sort of to bring it to the commission as a question, because would it be just like a exact same thing where you don't even type in your name, you just say how you identify and then you pick one of the 5, or because that way it matches the process that we're doing at the tables? Or do we want something more in depth, which would then require a little bit more planning, etc.?
That seems like it'd be simple Google form, and then it matches what we're doing at the table.
Okay. I can set that up for June 10th. And I was wondering, Jasmine, for the list of commissioners, do you mind editing my name, because the N was missing, and you don't actually have to put the hyphen. And I think Ashley just had 2 letters that you had to switch, right?
I emailed about it earlier.
Awesome, thank you. And now that we're all in a team together, then we'll coordinate within our outreach team, like the box of containers and the tokens and all that, so it's ready for June 10th. Just feel free to sign up for time at the table.
I'd just like to make a comment. First of all, thank you for all your work. Your committee's doing a great job. As you know how I feel about electronic surveys, it's something I love. I love the data. Is it possible to add, is there anything else you would like the commission to know? Since we're already connecting with them, it might be an opportunity to learn about something that we're not aware of.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because it was people who we had like spoken with, and a couple of them did it seemed like they had more they wanted to share.
I think people, when we connected with them at the event on Saturday, were very happy to hear that we wanted to know what they wanted our priorities to be. People were very positive about that approach.
That's great.
And do we have sorry, since I haven't seen the brochure, does it have a QR code? Okay.
The QR code that I put on, it just takes to like our official page
On the city.
for the city.
Okay.
I'll send it out to everyone once we're finished.
I'm just wondering if we should connect it to the survey. I don't know about that in the committee.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
it.
we can talk about, there is other ways we can direct people to the survey too. If we have a link in our page, maybe.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, that's
much.
great. That's super exciting. So much. And thank you for that survey. It was really very well done and a great, easy way to capture everyone's priorities. So, so just before we move on, the combined committee, so will we meet on next Monday at the, okay, so I see Yvonne nodding. So Monday, sorry, whatever that date is, the 15th, I guess. Is that right? At 6 o'clock. Okay.
Yes, I will just resend the calendar invite just to make sure that everybody.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, the diversification of boards and commissions committee.
Just real quick, the girls softball field maintenance got put under us. I don't know if anybody else wants to address that. That's not our group.
I think it's because Christina was
Oh, okay.
working on that.
So
Mhm.
that's why, okay, because she sits on that committee. Okay. So we're not
Unless-
gonna talk about that. What's that?
Shannon, did you have anything on that? Any update?
Yeah, I mean, we had a meeting this week about it, but I mean, if this isn't the right place to discuss it, I can wait, whatever you guys want to do.
No, I mean, go for it. If you want to talk about it, it's on the agenda, right?
Yeah, we, Christine, sorry, I'm just turning off the alarm for my cat's medicine, so we don't all have to hear that. So Christina and I met, and Michelle joined us for a little bit too, with Ken Hughes, and also Robert, and I don't know his last name, the director of Parks and Rec. We hopped on a Zoom with them.
Did you want me
Okay.
to like Stowers?
Yeah.
It's Stowers.
Thank you. They were both great. They were very receptive to talking to us and listening to us. And Ken and Christina and I had the meeting last year. The short version is there isn't a great solution, and it's not that the girls' fields are being, not a priority. It's just what floods. Norwalk High's field floods, especially like right field, right on the outfield grass. Ken had, pictures. And of course, we had the meeting right after those bad rains last weekend. And I mean, that field was underwater. There's no, Ken said, look, is there a way to fix it? Technically, yes, but you're looking at $500,000 at minimum. And the field would be useless for a couple years because you have to put in all the drainage, let it set for a year, and then you can use it. Now, in the case of Norwalk High, with the new Norwalk High on the horizon, that doesn't make sense to put that kind of money into a field that's going to be obsolete. And obviously, when the new field goes in, the plan is for it to be like McMahon, which is the turf that my daughter played on last Monday after 2.5 days of downpours. That sucker was ready to go. I mean, that field was gorgeous and ready to be played on. So, Ken's aware of the situation. They definitely monitor it. They send all their crews out to assess the fields as soon as they can. They work in conjunction with the athletic director at each of the schools when it comes to the high schools to figure out, if the field is playable or not. He did say that, they're aware of it. They're monitoring it. There's only so much they can do. One option was that I brought up because the beach fields are regulation 2. They come with their own issues with, they flood as well, number one. The Norwalk High team wanting to be on their true home field, not a, replacement field. And when you get into this time of the season, you're going to have all the problems with the parking and, people getting parking passes. And do we want to get into that? Is that going to just go down a path we don't need to get into? The one thing that the mom who brought this to us and Ken echoed is that this is a very moment in time problem. In 2 or 3 weeks, once we're through the heavy, spring rains, it's not as much of an issue. But unfortunately, that coincides with the girls' high school season. So I don't know if there's anything for us to truly do. We listen to both sides. We know that they're aware of the situation. I don't know that there's a great solution to be had aside from hoping it doesn't rain you know, in advance of the games. And I know that the other thing that, and tying back to last year, was the geese remediation, and Norokai's field does have that dogs actively shooing the geese out of that field on a regular basis. If anybody has any questions.
Shannon, is that field gonna be the long-term field? Like even with the renovations and all that?
That field goes away, that gone. And the new field will be the turf. It's you know, it's in the plan to be the turf field, just like McMahon just installed.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. That was super helpful. Really appreciate your follow-up on that.
No problem.
All right, so I'll just keep going here with the, oh, sorry, are we done with that? Claudia, I'm sorry, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think we're good. Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay, just really quick, old business for the diversification of boards and commissions. We obviously are continuing to focus on our presentation suggestions. We reached out to LaToya trying to connect. I think there was too much overlap with the other committees, like the community engagement, and I was really focused on like the City 101 event. And so what we found to be the best solution is to have Claudia reach out to LaToya, and Claudia is going to meet with LaToya, and she's going to actually reach out to her in the coming weeks, and they'll sit down and give LaToya a full update, and LaToya will give Claudia updates. Secondly, Christina tested the new online board and commissions application process. She sent a couple of recommendations over to the city. We'll talk about those next week when she's back. And then lastly, we promised each commission at every meeting we would talk about a board or commission opening. And I want to still continue on with the same planning and zoning opening. There's actually one left now. It's District C. So we have 7 men on that commission and 4 women. And basically the Planning and Zoning Commission is responsible for planning and coordinating the physical, social, and economic development of the city. And they also regulate the use of land with the city. So we're looking for somebody with necessary expertise, whether that's in real estate, land use, a business owner, someone with deep knowledge of the city. Leisha, I don't know if you want to add to that. No.
What I would say is that we definitely need more women on that commission. But one of the things that they do try to do not a lot of people know a lot about zoning before they go on zoning. So the way the commission is set up is that there are, don't hold me to this if the numbers are not exactly right, but I think that there's 9 members and then 3 alternates. And what they've been doing is leaving one of the members vacant. And that way at every meeting, one of the alternates gets a chance to participate. And it's a way for new people who haven't had that much of a exposure to zoning before, get their feet wet a little bit and get to learn, because they come to all of the meetings, and every 3rd meeting they get to be a participant and vote. So we've had some really great success getting some folks who were kind of hesitant to go on zoning in the first place to do that, like JJ Byron. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's fantastic, and we did that with her, right? We put her on as a alternate, and she's now actually moved up to be a full zoning member after being an alternate for a year or 2. So the opening that there is currently is for a real zoning member, not for an alternate. It's been helpful having the spot, so I'm not trying to tell you to not look for someone, but if you do find someone, send them our way. Because that is one that is more off kilter than some of our others. So we do need women there. And if we have to give up the space to allow the alternates to get their practice, we will, if we get a great person. So send them forward.
Thank you. That's good insider information. And that's it for our update. Thanks, Leisha.
Great. And we still have 1 vacancy on this commission. I know Shannon, you and Christina mentioned somebody to me via email. So
Yeah, we inadvertently both recommended the same person, so we felt like that was a good sign.
definitely.
Yeah, completely unprompted. She was like, "Oh, do you know?" I just don't want to say the name on the record. She was like, "Do you know so and so?" And I was like, "I sent her resume to Claudia, so I think we're on the right path." So we'll work on that. And she has a student graduating high school, so she's got her hands full the next couple weeks, and but we'll get her and you together and so you can
Great.
meet her. And hopefully it would be a viable candidate.
Yeah, awesome. That's exciting. Thank you for that. Okay, I think we are done with all the committee reports. So the last item is just a quick update about our June meeting. Representative Lucy Dathan plans to attend our June meeting, which will be great. We've tried to get her a few times and it just hasn't worked out. So hopefully it'll work for June. And I think that's it. The last thing before we adjourn, I just want to say that I am so grateful for the level of energy and activity that it's so exciting to come to these meetings and hear so much of what's going on. And I love the ideas of sort of organizing our time and making the information available to everybody in real time. And I think maybe we don't want to bite off too much more at the moment. I feel like there's a lot going on. Summer's busy, and so let's really succeed at the many things we've got going on. And then we have, for our bylaws, an annual meeting in September, so we can maybe do a bit of a year in review. I think would be really exciting, and then maybe get that circulated so other people can see what the commission's been doing. But anyway, just a huge heartfelt thanks. And with that, I think we'll take a motion to adjourn. Please. Chantal, thank you. Is there a second? Thanks, Jasmine. And it is 8:13 and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank
Night.
you.
Aisha, thanks for sitting in for Michelle. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank
no
you.
worries. Did she tell you she's
Thank
at her
you.
graduation tonight?
Yeah, so exciting.
Proud of her.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think I missed that.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you all.
Good
Bye.
night.